Hello everybody, this is Stephen Howson. This is the Warm Down, and this month the Warm Down is brought to you by the Onefootball app. This is the place where you can come for all of your football news, whether that's Manchester United, international football, or anything else that's going on in football. And they've easily sorted it so you can follow a number of teams and you can see all of that in one feed. There's also transfer reports. There's also news from all around the world as well. They've aggregated all the newspapers, all the blogs, all the YouTube channels into one nice, easy to follow place. So all of your transfer rumours and news you can find in one easy to digest place in one app on your phone, so you can read it and access it whenever you need to. They've also got transfer rumours in here, so as you can see, they've given it a rating where they think it's going to be happening or not happening. Check these ones out, so you can click on them. It'll show you the clubs that they're linked to. It'll show you the likelihood that they believe this is likely to happen, and then all the stories that are related to that as well. So it's really easy to follow, especially in the transfer window, and I definitely recommend downloading this one. But it's not just for rumours and for news. You can track your football team fixtures in here as well. All of the fixtures from all over the world, from friendly games, from pre-season tours, right down to when the leagues start, and you've got all of the games that's going to be playing. So as you can see here, Manchester United against LA Galaxy, no information for that one just yet, but as soon as the tour starts happening, you're going to find all of the match stats in one easy to follow place right here. As well as match stats, you can go and check out all of the stuff for one club at a time, whether that's the club that you follow or another club. You'll see all of their news in the one space. You will see all of their fixtures sorted out by competition, so you can follow what's going on with each competition that your club is involved in. And then you can go onto the squad and you can check out all the different stats player by player. And at the moment, there's no stats in because it's the start of the season, but this is a great place to come and check out the stats once the season is underway. So as I said, make sure to download the Onefootball app. The link is in the description below. Check it out. Let me know what you think. It's going to be sponsoring the Warm Down podcast, and it's also going to be sponsoring the youth reviews throughout July. So check it out and let me know what you think.
Sounds like something you used to call like an old witch or something, like mad bitch back in the day.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Warm Down. Today's guest is Mr. Adam McKola of the Full-Time Devils. What's the Full-Time Devils, mate?
What's the Full-Time Devils? Sauce in it.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's what people seem to think. It's just me and you.
Who's tweeting Adam or Stephen? Most people get it when it's me.
Yeah, because it's usually moody as fuck when it's you. Producer
Right, yeah,
Chris keeps
transfers.
people guessing.
So yes, right.
Yeah, it's alright. Summer's alright, isn't it? Nearly pre-season time now, so
It's about to just get interesting. I basically had June off from my own channel, at least, just because I couldn't be arsed talking the same shit about transfers. I was talking about them 2-3 times a week for Devils. I didn't really want to be talking about the same old shit. There's nothing to talk about. At least as of
rehashed old stories,
next,
isn't it, at the moment?
Well, next week you're going to be back in pre-season, but the following week the lads are out on tour, so then there's definitely things to start analysing and talking about, isn't there? And that's what I prefer, man. I prefer that analytical side of the fucking football.
Yeah,
the actual football,
even
not
then,
the
like,
fucking drama around football.
Pre-season's a bit, even then it's a bit like, nah. The games don't really, like, do you really enjoy watching pre-season matches?
Not
It's
necessarily.
great to have it back because
depends
you
on
have no football for so long and it's like, oh yes, football, but it's still a little bit shit.
Depends on what they're doing. I mean, was it? It was one of the Van Gaal ones. It might have been the American one last time.
ICC.
With we tore Barcelona to pieces with like fucking Blackett,
I was there.
Wilson and Januzaj and
In the Levi
Lingard.
Stadium.
It was an all academy goal, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Tore him to
that
bits.
was mint. Lingard scored. The atmosphere. That I enjoyed that America tour. You know, like it was really good. Like before I went out there, I thought, are they really gonna get football? You know, like the same thoughts everybody has before they go to America. And then I got there. I remember going to a pub in Seattle. The first place I saw Reds outside that I'd see at every home and away, which was like, what are these guys doing here? And then you go inside and the American Reds are nuts. And not only will you see Americans, you'll see like Indians, Australians, all sorts. And it was just
Americans
like a party
got that
atmosphere.
real culture of the way that they follow sports is a little bit different to the way we would follow United in England. But it's pretty fucking full on, isn't it? I imagine that they bring that aspect.
And I imagine because they are further away from it, they have to do more to keep involved. So they work harder to watch games, to get to games, to, you know, even like waking up to watch a match 3 a.m. I remember that, not the last American preseason tour, the one before we played Liverpool in the final.
Yeah.
And we won. I was covering that Full-Time Devils and I knocked out halfway through it. When would you ever?
That was the one where the kit fucking thing fucked up, didn't it? And everyone.
No, that was a different day. It was the same year, but that was when I was awake.
There was that game on it.
What? Nah, because I was awake when I broke that. I tweeted the link about United's website, but
the guy didn't even get sacked.
The guy didn't get. Maybe it was meant to be. No, it wasn't meant to be. I was on page 3 that
people rinsed hundreds out of that thing.
If
you don't know what we're talking about, actually, by the way, because some people are like, "What the fuck are you two talking about?" 2014, a guy from Kitbag won it. Kitbag runs United's store. In case you didn't know that United don't actually run their online store, Kitbag runs it, and it's all out of a warehouse in Oldham. One of the guys that worked for Kitbag, did he tweet it?
No, basically, I saw this link and it said, discount or something for United, but it had one retweet, so I clicked on it.
But so the link had the
it was like a
discount code embedded into it.
It was like an intranet link, when you get the links for inside the workplace. And I've clicked on this and everything was like 70% off. And I'm thinking, huh? So I've tweeted it. And my tweet got about 500. These were the times when I probably had about 10,000 followers. I didn't have many followers. And it went absolutely nuts. And the funny thing is...
At 4 in the morning?
Yeah, at 4 in the morning, I had people tweeting me saying, I've just bought 2 snooker tables, mad shit like that. And the worst thing is I didn't buy anything.
I did.
I was sat there like, I just didn't buy anything.
I was at my dad's. And I was watching a match at my dad's in the morning. I saw you tweet the link, because it was the LA Galaxy game, actually, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I've bought Jaden the full home kit, the full away kit. I don't buy shirts usually, but I bought me the full shirt. I bought my dad an away shirt, and I bought some other shit as well. And then my old man come down and he was like, "Oh, buy all that lot as well." But by the time he'd come downstairs at like 7:30, they'd shut the discount code off. But that got rinsed. Yeah, he ended up in the paper.
Page 3.
So yeah, I mean, it's nice when they do things like that. But yeah, it was definitely a fuck up. I thought the guy's definitely getting sacked. So I knew who it was.
He should have got sacked.
I knew who it was.
That was me. I would have got sacked. You'd get sacked for something stupid as that, right? Costing your company that much money.
Thousands, yeah.
But then the profit margins on these kind of things.
Don't matter. It's lost money, innit? It's lost revenue. But again, it's one of those, is it? Would you have bought it without it? I would have bought Jaden's kit, but I wouldn't have bought me a shit.
And also, you got to think, how many people that, like your old man, got there late and then just thought, I'll just buy it anyway. Like, they still would have had a crazy amount of traffic coming through that website that day. It's crazy. Hope do it again, so I can benefit from it.
We was working with them at the time because they was giving giveaways away on Twitter and stuff with Kitbag. And I messaged the guy, I was like, "Who was this that did that?" And he was like, "Me." And I was like...
Uncle Malk was turning in his grave.
Nothing
bastard.
So yeah, I mean, I wonder if that's the reason we keep going to America, because of how MLS is taking off over there and because the networks are buying into it and we can sell full price tickets. Because if we go to third world countries, you can't really sell $100 tickets and shit, can you?
I think it's partly that. And I also think if you go America, you go Australia, you go China, you go all these places, the money you're going to make in revenue is going to be the same pretty much everywhere. And I think America's just easier for everybody. The language, the culture. Like in terms of preseason, you don't need jabs. The facilities, everything over there is spot on. The only thing is the travelling, but I think Jose will be out. But I checked it out, including the Super Cup, we got 8 games preseason. That's like, compared to last season when we had 3, 4, and one of them got called up.
Because we have been trying to figure out a way that we can go and make it cost effective for us to go, and we're struggling, to be honest, at the moment. Even if we went and did a couple of games,
I want to go and do one. I might go do one.
Miles apart.
I might go do one.
Tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of miles apart. It's not like you can go, oh, we'll just go to California because there's 2 games in California. There's 2 games in California, but they're a fortnight apart. Like, so they go to California. I think they go to San Francisco first, and then they go middle of the country, Utah. Then they go Maryland, which is East Coast. Then they come back over to Houston, and then they go to LA. There's nowhere like you're nice and local that you can go. We'll catch 2 games.
We went to Seattle, Chicago, San Francisco, Santa Clara. That was mint. You know what I love as well? The whole, what they called them things before? Tailgates, man. We need to have them here. But I don't think that's something people could do here.
It's not our culture to do that.
Yeah, it's not we're not organised enough.
Well, the pub culture is the pub culture here. I tried to rationalise how it started in America and why it hasn't took off in England. And I think part of the reason why it started in America is because I think drinking and driving is probably more prevalent. I just think that's a fact, right? Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's part of it. I think everyone's got a big fucking truck, so you can. I mean, I went to the tailgate at UCLA college football game, and people were pulling out double gazebos, full-on trestle tables with chip and dip and barbecues and everything, and you're like, it's a lot of effort. You ain't doing that when you've got 64 matches a season.
Yeah.
When you've got 8 matches a season like college football has or NFL has, you can make an event out of every single game, can't you? Because you can really get behind it. When it's fucking Stoke on a Monday night, and you've just come back from fucking wherever, and you've got to go there, and the games come a bit too thick and fast, I think. And that might be why we end up taking some of it for granted versus people abroad who you might only see United once every 2 years when they come on a tour, and then you're getting like a half an 11 that no one cares about. And you can understand why when they do come here, they make such a fucking big deal out of it. When there's so many times, mate, I was like, I can't even be asked going today. And it's something for you guys watching at home, I'd be like, it's my fucking dream to go to Old Trafford, and you're like, yeah, well, 27 years I've been going, and
the last
I'm
3
not
years.
gonna lie to you, at some point I get fucking bored. I got bored under Fergie and was like, I just can't be fucking arsed today, man.
I've never got bored of it, you know.
Well, obviously not. I'm still paying my money. I'm still fucking going every
There's
week.
some games where, like, the Europa League, I used to be like, oh my God, I do not want to be here.
I don't have the same feeling for every game. I'm way more up for some matches than I am for others, and I'm just being honest with you. I'm not trying to bullshit you here and think that I wake up and jump out of bed every single match, because I don't, and that's the fact.
Yeah, sometimes, like, because of obviously what we do on Tinternet, talking about football, like, you meet people and the first thing they talk to you is about football, and sometimes it's like, please. But then you imagine, like,
and a lot of these don't see as well, man. If we have a night game on a Thursday, so I've got a family, I've got a son, I've got to sort him out, I've got to get him from school, and then I've got to get here, I've got to do all the shit that we do. I don't finish till 4 or 5 in the morning, and then I'm up at 7 to get Jay to school the next day. That's graft. So I'm not going to look forward to that every single time.
Nah, I look forward to it. I think it's just,
like, some games I just, I can't be arsed with, like,
it's just the Europa League, how it feels.
and that's why next season being in the Champions League is so important for us. Like, it's going to feel so much better, and I think the whole season we won't feel as fucked up as we have this season with 2 days rest in between games, especially when you drive into these games, driving back, driving here, driving there, and like, if you think about it, like, we're young, yeah. If you think about, like, some of the older Reds that have been doing it for 50, 60, 70 years.
Do you know, back in the day,
imagine the miles on their clocks.
That's crazy.
How easy is a train to London at the moment from Manchester? It's 2 hours, and it's comfortable, it's clean, it's it's pretty expensive, but you get there like, it's done. You don't even notice.
Yeah.
It used to take 6 fucking hours on a train. Can you imagine doing that there and back in a day?
Oh,
no.
Man.
How about no?
That's not a day. That's 12 hours. Oh, shit.
Right,
yeah,
so think
horrible.
about this, like West Ham away, right? So it's a nose to get to when you get to London as well. So you have to get there, and the tube existed even in the 50s and 60s, didn't it? But I don't know how quick it was. I imagine it wasn't every 3 minutes like it is now. It's pretty efficient, the tube, I do admit. It's better than the Metrolink, but it should be for how much it fucking costs.
I fucking hate the tube. I hate London.
So 6 hours on a train. Let's say it's a 3 o'clock Saturday kickoff because it was before Sky Cup. So you're leaving Manchester at the latest at 6 a.m, aren't you? To get to London for dinner time, right? Then you've got a couple of hours to get over, get a couple of beers in to get over to West Ham, right? Then you got a match at 3.
And not only that, it's a different era. It's a completely different era. So you're police escorted.
It's like the Warriors.
I've watched some crazy
running
videos,
around
like,
all the tube stations.
Zara always tweets them, and you'll see like tweets of like videos from like the 60s and 70s of the fans coming off the train, and like that whole thing's just completely like nowadays. Well, before I did full-time Devils, and when my dad used to take me, like, I'd never speak to anybody like before a game. So my source of talking to other match-going Reds and match-going Man United fans was forums. You know, like, they used to have one on Stretford and Flags, Republic of Mancunia, various different forums. So I used to be on there talking to. Apart from that, it was Dad picks us up from school, or meets us at home after school, after work, drive to the game, 2 hours, park up close to the ground, get out, get to the ground, get back to the car straight after the game, gone. So you don't even enjoy it. And that was like like my dad. I remember my dad would sometimes just be like, "Oh, I fucking hate this," just driving. And I think it was the whole thing of him having to drive. But like I feel the same now when I drive. But you're not gonna stop going. It's almost like a chore now, isn't it? It's not a chore because you enjoy it, but it's almost like just
It's
part
become
of your
something that you do.
You have to do. Can you imagine how boring life would be without football? There'd be no FIFA to play on the PlayStation. There'd be, when you're
Obviously,
bored.
I like MMA, don't I? So I dip into MMA.
Yeah, but I like
And
boxing
that's
and tennis.
And that's my get out from football sometimes when it does get a bit on top.
But it's like, nothing compares to football. Can you imagine, like?
Well, the thing is, individual sports, no one ever passes down their love of watching Ricky Hatton to their kids, do they? Like, because that guy fights for 10 years, retires, and he's gone. Whereas a football club, I've got my granddad's first programme. I've got my dad's first programme. I've got mine. I've got Jaden's. I know the first game that my great-granddad went to in 1933. So I've got all of these... I've got this lineage of people that have gone to United, and that lineage can be passed down. You can't pass down watching Andy Murray to your fucking kids, can you? You can't be like... You might be able to say, I like tennis.
Nowadays, some people have kids at like 12, so probably can.
You might pass down the watching the tennis, but you're not going
Especially
to...
in Scotland.
This passionate support for one entity that's everlasting. I mean, look at what we've got around us, man. You've got fucking 85 there. Is that
My dad's hero there.
Jesper Olsen, Robbo,
Bobby
Fergie, there's
Bobby
Trinity
Robson.
statue, Brian Kidd. So you've got, these people are all transient. Anderson, Michael Carrick,
Anderson.
Darren Ferguson. So these people are all transient, but the fucking badge remains the same, kinda. And that's what you pass down, isn't it? That's what you go for. You go for the people that are wearing that badge.
There's something in Gary Neville's autobiography, which is kind of like something that's stuck with me. It's when he talks about like the owners and stuff, and it's like when you go to Old Trafford, you will go to Old Trafford regardless of who the opposition is, regardless of who's playing.
That's what pisses me off when we
regardless
play a
of who's
shit
the
team,
owner,
and it is a
regardless
little
of who
bit
the
empty.
directors, like regardless of anything, the manager, whatever, you will always go and it's something Herrera said as well after the EFL Cup final when he goes, the badge won us the game. It's like, that shit does happen sometimes. Sometimes the badge just wins you the game, and it's like, that's how incredible the club is. I did a podcast with Rankcast recently talking about some stuff like that, so I won't go into it a bit too much. Yeah, it is. You can get lost in it. I got lost sticking them all up. Some of them are dropping off now. Paddy Evra's a great one, isn't it? Paddy Evra, what a man. What about Paddy?
I love Paddy Evra. I want to call my next kid Patrice.
Be a nice name. Pat Rice.
He'd get shortened to Paddy, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It would.
Paddy.
Wouldn't even be over the hospital and someone had already called him Paddy.
Football though, it's good to have a break, isn't it?
It's been good to have a break because of how it dragged last season. And I think Mourinho had a bit of a really defensive mindset as well last year. Not in terms of what he played, because I think that parking the bus stuff got so overhyped. He didn't really park the bus in the fixtures that everyone's thinking. We tossed the league off by that City game. So the City game, the Spurs game, the Arsenal game, they didn't fucking matter in the grand scheme of things. And we basically threw them. You could almost accuse him of match fixing because we basically threw the fucking games. We didn't really give a fuck about them. What he'd done by that point is he'd gambled on winning the Europa League. Massive gamble, paid off. Can't fault him. He got his objective was to Champions League football, and he brought in 2 trophies, and he's created potentially a mindset of winning with United.
I know I've criticised the Europa League today and said I fucking hate it, which I do. I never want to ever be in it again.
Could be back in it by Christmas.
We could. I'd rather finish 4th in our group than 3rd.
Said that last time that we finished 3rd though. In the group.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit.
Oh man, that was Wolfsburg. Was it Wolfsburg? Wolfsburg, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and Chris, I'll tell you about this. I never had a ticket for that game, because a lot of people that don't know, because a lot of people say to me, obviously they'll say, oh, how come How come you don't get a ticket to every game? They think it's so easy to get a ticket to every game.
Trust me.
It's impossible.
People message me, how can I get a ticket for Liverpool away? And I go, you can't.
Have you got 10 tickets in a row for Liverpool away, please?
Yeah, I've only got
for
6.
My dad's birthday.
I've only got 6 in front of each other and behind each other, not in a row.
I get them all the time. And it's like, guys, just stop DMing me asking for tickets. Like, firstly, I can't even sort this guy a ticket out sometimes. Secondly, when I'm trying to get away tickets, firstly, I'm trying to sort myself out first. Secondly, if I have a spare, I'm going to give it to someone who's sorted me out in the past. And thirdly,
can we just
I
say,
get crazy emails like, I'd love to take my son to his first ever game. And it's like a cup final or Liverpool away. Like it's like, be realistic here. I'm not going to give you my only ticket for this game.
my granddad's 75 this week, right? Do you know how many times he's been to Wembley?
Once.
None. He's never been to Wembley. He had back in the day when the
new
semi-finals-
Wembley, you mean?
No, Wembley.
Oh shit.
Back in the day when I think it was the 65 cup final, him and his brother used to share the tickets, and I think they used to sell. I'm sure he said something about selling programs at the game, but away games, and it didn't make any sense to me. But I was like, all right, whatever. And he said he had a train ticket, and his brother had scored the cup final ticket, and he was like, well, he got the ticket. I'll let him have the train ticket. And then the ones in the 70s, he was like working away. He worked away quite a lot when my dad and his brothers and my uncles and that was growing up. And then as we've come through the 90s, he only goes every now and then, so he doesn't score a ticket, as you can imagine. So the last couple of times that United have been, I was like, I really want to take my fucking granddad. So my priority list goes myself, my dad, Jaden, and then my granddad. Not some random guy, and this might sound harsh to some of you people, but, and then after my granddad, I've got like 20 other fucking mates that either sorted me out away tickets or that are in the fucking
And then
line.
it's funny though, because sometimes as well,
Trust me, I'll never have
there's
to get
been
rid of a
times
ticket on
where
Twitter.
I've been at a game and I've had my brother's ticket in my pocket spare for some home games. And that kind of showed, like in the last couple of years, I would never have known that. I remember when I was a One United member, and we used to fill in the little applications, send off the applications every season. This was when I was a kid. And we used to send them off, and I used to wait, praying for that. Remember that little envelope? It was a proper thin envelope, ticket shirt-sized envelope, to just get dropped through the letterbox with a ticket. And because of that, I only used to get back 10 games a season. But it was like, tickets were so hard to come by. And now, I remember in the last few years, I would go with a spare in my pocket to some games. Every game, because my brother had work or something, and no one would want to take it.
Well,
I'd phone my mates and be like, nah, you're all right.
I knew a guy that had a suite a couple of seasons ago. And how many times did you end up fucking going in there? I mean, this is 200.
Well, I think I went twice, because I like it when it's cold and it's raining and the game's like West Brom 0-0. You can have a beer. But proper games,
you could never fill it.
Yeah,
it would be like, I've got like 5 spares for today. But this is home games. Home games are a different story. Apart from the big 4 or 5 matches a season where it does become really difficult to shift, you can get spares for pretty much every United game. Do you know what? I see on Reddit all the time people saying, where's the best place to sit? Old Trafford. Just get in there. Don't fucking worry about what the best fucking view is. Just get in there and watch the match.
I think Old Trafford, anyway, hasn't got any restricted views, so it's fine. And I think, obviously,
if it's your first time, just get the fuck
there's
in
some
there,
games where you want to be tier 1 or you want to be a little bit closer and see things a little bit more and feel the atmosphere. But after that, that's it.
Just get in.
But I suppose, if it's your first ever game, you kind of do.
No,
but then even then, you just want to be inside.
Just fucking get in. Don't worry about what this
One
is.
of my first games, I can't even... My first game was against Sheffield Wednesday. I can't remember anything of that.
I can't remember.
Or the early games, I can remember being in a crowd. There's one game, I can remember Ronnie Janssen scoring a header. Why? I don't know. He did. I can just remember random things, and it was sometimes shoulders would be in the way, and I'd just see the ball pop, and he'd be like, can't see shit.
My old man, when I was this is the first few years I was going. My first game was 1990, September 1990, so the 1990-91 season, following that FA Cup win. I was 6 or 7. And I remember my dad used to put me on. There was a crash barrier at the front of the Stretford end when it still had the. In fact, there might be a picture on here of it.
Where is this? There isn't. There isn't.
Well, it's down there, but you won't be able to see it. It's behind the thing. So the Stretford end used to have the gates, the fence, and it sort of curled round. And I could just really vividly remember, because obviously you're 6 or 7, you get planked on it, you put your legs through, and you're holding on with your little Man United gloves with Man and UTD on the knuckles.
I love an 8 on his hands.
And I can just remember that it was a really like burgundy red. It wasn't red.
Yeah.
And it was really smooth, because it must have been painted so many times that it didn't feel like metal. It felt almost like plastic.
There were about 6 layers of paint on it, like really thick.
And occasionally chipped off, and then they just fucking painted back over it. It's such a vivid memory of that. I can't remember the crash barriers further up, because I never stood at the crash barriers further up, because I was fucking that big. And all I used to remember is my dad used to put me on the front. It was at the bottom left-hand side of the Stretford end. He'd put me on. He'd get me. They used to sell United chocolate, and it had like football on the squares. He'd get me a United chocolate bar, give me the programme, and I'd just be sitting there holding on. And then he'd fuck off and disappear. I didn't know where he was. He just knew where I was. He could probably see me, and he's in there with 10,000 other dudes.
Yeah.
And then he'd come back down at half time and go, "You alright?" Oh, yeah. And you're alright, see you in a bit. And then he'd come and get me about 5 minutes to go, and then we'd stand in the gangway waiting for the final whistle, and then fuck off. And you just think, it seems such an innocuous thing, doesn't it? But like,
I remember
27 years ago, we started doing that, and we still fucking do
where the
it.
players went in as well. Like nowadays, it's all cordoned off, and they've painted a line on the floor where you've got to stand behind.
They used
And
to
they
just
used to just
drive-
walk through. Yeah.
You used to drive in the car
through,
up to it and then jump out.
And it's like everyone was just walking around them, and it's completely different. Like
The old
it's
Cliff,
crazy.
like you could go and watch training at the old Cliff, where the youth team play a few games now, but you could just go and watch. Just tap that on you a bit, because we're a bit overexposed. Or do it on me. Tap it on me. I think it's changed it. Yeah, sorry. You could just go and watch training, and you can go and shake Sir Alex Ferguson's hand and stand at the training while they trained at the side, and it would be like 30 people there or something like that. And you could hang around at the end, and they would all come and sign autographs. Beckham and Giggs, and they would all come and sign an autograph for some people, and you just think it's such a disconnect now. I mean, they would come and stand next to you and take a photo and stuff like that. Whereas now,
Do you think it's purely because of
They hang out the side of
the
the car.
raising money? Because it can't be, right? Obviously, we live in a different world now as well, where you've got to be concerned about certain things. But I mean, it can't just be the money reason that these people. Or is it because the status that comes with being a footballer has completely changed now?
I think celebrities changed. Movie stars used to be movie stars, didn't they?
Yeah.
I think athletes are now the movie stars of when we was growing up. Because footballers was like normal guys that was good at football to an extent. Still a bit special when
Yeah,
you
they used to go on
see
a
one.
bus and that. I watched. Have you seen that thing with Gary Neville and Dennis Law and is it Summerby from Sky?
Yeah,
before the
I've
Manchester
seen it, yeah,
derby, and Dennis Law just talking about like the morning of a Manchester derby is on the bus with the fans going to the game. Ray Bobbins.
Ray Bobbins. Ray so he used to get the bus to the match with a couple of the players in the 50s.
Like,
Can you imagine getting a
but
bus
then
to the
also,
match?
but also, one thing I've got to say as well, a lot of these older folk used to go watch Man City when United were playing. Like, football was so. How can you get your head around that?
Those
Can
who
you
watch
imagine
this,
going to watch Manchester City?
Well, those
because
who
United
watch this
aren't-
know that. Well, there was no telly, so you couldn't sit at home and watch the match.
No soccer Saturday.
There was no. It wouldn't even have live radio necessarily about the matches. So
It was
what
only
else do you
like
do?
cup finals and that.
Talk to your wife? I don't fucking think so.
Busy in the kitchen. In
So
them days.
I can understand it. I can't see myself doing it, but I can kind of understand it. Here's what my granddad said. He goes, there was like, and it's mad thinking of my granddad as one of the lads, but my granddad said there was like 13 or 14 mates. There was probably 4 or 5 City and the rest was United. And they would go, they had a place that they would stand at United. So obviously no mobile phones, no Twitter, and obviously no ticketing, so you didn't have your seat where you would be stood. So they sort of stood in an area on the terrace.
Hoping to find each other next
Yeah,
week.
and then they would all go there, and they knew a place at Main Road, and they knew a place at Old Trafford, and that's where they would go. And it was literally, they would watch the match, and then they'd get on a session then. That was their Saturday session starter. So they'd get on the booze till 10, 11 o'clock, whenever the last orders properly was then, and then go home. And that was what they did. And it kind of makes sense. Isn't it? And he said a lot of City fans would come and watch United games at Old Trafford when we was in Europe because you ain't never seen Di Stefano. There's no telly. He said you used to get the news in the cinema.
You didn't it? It would break through on the telly screens and shit.
So you'd get the news in the cinema. You would see highlights of matches occasionally in the cinema. He goes, and we knew that this Real Madrid team was sick. He goes, so you'd be in the shop at work. He goes, and people are talking like in a couple of weeks, United play Real Madrid. That means like, fucking Puskas is coming over and Di Stefano coming over. And it's not like now where you can watch telly and watch Ronaldo and watch Bundesliga and watch Serie A. So Old Trafford get packed, and there might be Halifax fans in there. There might be whoever in there. But no, obviously a fucking large proportion of Reds, but also a load of tourists and stuff. People just coming to watch the match. And I think it makes a lot of sense, and I think it's quite an innocent thing as well. I think it's quite a pure thing that they wanted to watch those footballers because you don't get the chance.
It's more tribal now, though, isn't it? And that probably came with like, obviously you had the hooliganism. Obviously there was trouble back then as well, but you had the hooliganism years, and probably became more tribal after that.
How he felt, because he was a slight bit older than that. He'd have been nearer in his 40s when hooliganism really took place. And you're like, we have the 40-odd-year-olds now, look at people doing fan cams and like, oh, fucking dicks. But
like my favourite one. You know that guy that walks past? Full-time wankers! And now he shakes our hand every week and he smiles at us and he's told us his full name.
If you think of every generation of football fans, the ones that preceded it probably think that they're dicks. So there must have been guys in flat caps with a pipe. When they brought the clackers in, they've been like, these fucking noisy wankers with a...
Yeah.
Right? And then the people who brought the clackers in, when they started wearing butcher's coats, they'd be like, these fucking dicks wearing butcher's coats.
Yeah.
And then the guys in butcher's coats, when the guys start wearing tartan everywhere, like, just because we got a fucking Scottish manager, what are you wearing tartan for, you fucking dick? And then the tartan ones, when the hooligans started in the 80s, they're like, look at these dicks. Can't they go and wear tartan? They have to fucking have a fight.
I watched United before Fergie, and I follow him a lot. And some of the pictures they put up from back in the day, they're really cool to see, and you see them with all the flares on and all that. But you see like people with scarves wrapped around their heads, around their arms, like mad jackets and that. Some people wear them things now, and everyone looks at them like, it's fucking weirdo. Everyone's blacked out on an away, no one wears colours, and it's just like complete change of culture. But I mean,
so at the moment you've got almost like the day tripper culture. So you've got people like, well, we're both wearing black now, but this is pretty much how we would go to a match. I see people in our comments like, why aren't you wearing a United shirt?
But I have to say, when I was a kid, up until I was 18, probably up until I was about 17, 18, and like I started to really understand about the Glazers and everything like that, I wore colours to matches quite a lot. And I think now because I'm an adult, and like football's just like, back then it was, I don't know, it's just, I used to wear colours then, and now I don't.
You was also a kid.
Yeah.
Like, there's adults that wear colours. So like, I would put us in the bit where in a generation of people that don't wear colours. We don't purposely wear black, but we purposely don't wear colours. And I see people in our comments asking what sort of fans are we because we don't wear colours, and you're not of the same mindset of us. But I bet we probably do look down a little bit at the people that are wearing a match shirt and stuff like that.
I don't.
I think there's an element of it because we don't wear it. I'm not going to cuss someone out for it. I just don't.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't wear it, but that's not because I just don't wear it anymore. Like, I don't buy them. Firstly, by the way, the new shirts are mint.
The new
but I don't buy them. I wish I did now, but I don't buy them, so I'm not going to wear them. But if I did buy them, I would wear them when I play football.
Yeah, I wear them in the gym and stuff.
Yeah, like,
I don't wear them at the match.
Yeah,
but I didn't mean looking down on people in that sense. I mean, it's just sort of it's a different thing, innit?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, so our generation generally does, or our sort of mindset, I don't know what you call it, that group of fans that we sort of belong to unofficially, probably looks down a little bit on people who wear shirts. Well, that time's going to pass, and the people who, like the current lot that wear match shirts to the match, there's going to be a new thing. And they're going to look down on them, and they'll be like, these fucking dicks wearing fucking Spider-Man hats or something. Or whatever.
it already is with like selfie sticks, and selfie sticks are just AIDS, by the way. But like all these, there already are different factions of things. And I mean, we do fan cam, but I still think some people that do fan channels in our beds. I mean, you can't say everyone in that group's the same and everyone in that group's the same. But I get what you mean. It's just like different generations of fans and different kinds of fans. But I spoke to Barney. We did a video with Barney about it. Red News on Full Time Devils, and he was saying it's just like people just have different ways of supporting their club, innit? To some people, their club's different things as well. Like to me, there's not been a day in my life I've never thought about Man United. I think about Man United every day. Whereas the way I support Mayweather, some people might support Man United like that, where it's just when the matches are on. Like Mayweather's my favourite boxer, apart from Mike Tyson, ever. But I don't think about him every day. But Man United, I do. There's never been a day I haven't thought about. Like,
do you know what I realised? Do you remember the Munich game not long ago? The home game.
The City one when we lost.
No, Munich.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant the Munich Memorial game.
No.
Yeah.
It was in Moyes, wasn't it? It was my season.
Yeah. 1-1 at home and 3-1 away.
What the fuck we was doing, but there was. I just sort of had a realisation moment. I was stood with my dad where the horses usually are, by the car park near the Trinity statue, sort of like parallel with the away end entrance. And I stood there and we was waiting for someone. It was probably you, fucking late. And I was watching all these dudes come past. And there was a guy that looked like Donald Trump with a big fucking Crombie coat on. He was orange and he had white hair that was well over the top and probably a wig. And he had two 19-year-old birds with him. And the guy was like 60 odd. He looked like he was minted. And he was he went in under the tunnel. He was obviously going into a box or something like that. Probably hose, but whatever. And I was just thinking, does he represent United? No. And then there had been a couple of old boys in them old denim jackets with fucking Man United like hand-drawn shit on them. I'm like, do they represent United? No. And then there's a couple of younger lads that's more like ours, Joe, wearing all fucking Adidas trainers and with black jackets on and jeans and singing songs. And I was like, do they represent United? I'm like, no. And then I'm looking at what I'm stood with. I'm stood with my dad and my son, and he's wearing a United shirt, and these kids coming past in full kit with shin pads on and stuff, which I don't get. And I'm like, nobody represents United. No one can speak for such a diverse group of people.
It's like when people say, all Muslims are terrorists. No, they're not. It's like the same thing. You can't. With any group, whether it's a group of Manchester United fans, a group of a religious group, a group of, I don't know, a nationality, a race, whatever it is, there's going to be sections of people that are idiots.
And there's sections within sections that are completely polar opposite of each other. And it's a madness. And I remember standing there, and it was fairly early on, and there was a lot of German fans coming in, and the Munich fans have some of them had a particular way of dressing with, a very stereotypical German thing with like denim jackets and stuff like that, with like Munich stuff sewn all over it. And I just remember, I was just enjoying the diversity of everything that was coming past me, and I was thinking, imagine ever thinking anything could represent Manchester United. It's like Manchester United represents us, and that's where the term United technically comes from, doesn't it? If you want to get a bit poetical. When they was thinking of a name for United, Manchester Celtic was one that was brought up. Manchester Central was one that was brought up. Manchester something Rovers was one of the ones that was brought up.
Something's an interesting name, isn't it? Something.
And it was decided on United because there was people coming from the north of Manchester, south of Manchester, east of Manchester, west of Manchester, and someone said, why don't you just call it Manchester United, because it unites a load of different things. And I like that's where it sort of represents that it's the club unites different nationalities, different races, different parts of Manchester, different occupations, different just differences.
People often talk about, like, obviously because obviously my old man, his family are like Indian. My old man is grown up mainly in Birmingham. He's got family in Manchester. But like, people have to ask, why do I support Man United? I support Man United because my dad brought me up to support Man United, and my mum's brother, who he was Irish. Irish have got a long history of Manchester United anyway. But like, a lot of people, you wonder why a lot of Asians and black people and, like in Britain and England support people like Manchester United, Liverpool, Arsenal. And you think, why did this? Obviously these teams have been successful, so they've been in the news, and these fans have obviously seen them more. But also those kind of clubs have been more inclusive of other cultures and other people. Like, you never had a racist group of Manchester, like not that. I've never ever like. Some United fans don't like me. Some United fans love me. Some United fans don't have an opinion. But even the ones that hate me and call me a cunt when they see me, I've never had any racism from them. Like that's nothing I've never experienced from Manchester United fans.
I think City had
That's
an
not to say
EDL
there aren't
element,
any,
innit?
because obviously there are.
City's got an EDL element.
They've got like a. I was gonna say like, they've got that kind of like. I don't know. Yeah, it's a bit EDL-ish, isn't it?
I don't know if they actually have like a.
It's like
someone's got
Chelsea,
a
Rangers, City.
Yeah.
Like they all have that kind of. Yeah.
But what's weird is because City was based in Moss Side, they've got a massive like Mancunian black following. The Cool Cats. Which doesn't really suit their sort of predominantly, or it's probably not predominantly. Certainly now it's not.
It's not now, yeah.
EDL
In the past,
mentality.
yeah.
It's weird. It's a weird thing, and I always wondered like, is a lot of the Irish thing with United because of how welcoming it is. And
It's obviously because of players, George Best in the past, and
I think it's
you know,
also
Sam.
like likes of Busby was
Yeah.
deliberate in a lot of the way the club was running that.
Yeah. And I mean, also, you look at the city, you've got a lot of different people from different trades passing through the city.
Manchester's a cosmopolitan city, and
Yeah,
it has
so
been forever. It's actually really funny when you read up on the history. And obviously there's a big fucking scaremongering about Muslims at the moment, but if you just take out the word Muslim and put in fucking Irish and go back 20, 30 years, it's exactly the
and
same.
then before
fucking
that,
arguments.
Jewish,
Yeah.
before... It happens all the time. We're not going to get too political, but there's always cycles of these things where you got to get scared by somebody. The media needs you to be scared. If you're not scared, you're not controlled. So be scared, bitches.
8 billionaires own most of them papers that are giving all that fucking aggro out. The Mail, the Sun. All of
You wonder
those.
why they're so concerned about someone coming in that's going to raise the taxes on them. But still, corporation tax will be one of the lowest in Europe here.
I think I read somewhere that Starbucks pays less tax than I do.
Mate, I remember when I went to America, yeah, and I was looking at, like, Saunders will say this, like, because I'm one of these guys, yeah, like, if I see hypocrisy in it, or I see, like, something that I hate, I just keep talking about it, innit? Like, I was in America, and we were there with Google, Amazon, Starbucks, and we were in Silicon Valley, so you got all Apple, all these companies, and I remember looking around and thinking, none of these bastards pay any tax whatsoever. Is there any wonder why they're such big companies? Obviously, there's reasons why they get tax relief in it, because they're huge companies. They benefit the countries that they work in, obviously, as well. But also, like, fucking hell, it's so fishy. And I remember just constantly saying to Saunders, like, Saunders, it's a fucking joke. Like, I wouldn't go Starbucks. I wasn't comfortable going Starbucks. Like, oh, man. That's why I don't have an iPhone. Fuck Apple. I also don't have an iPhone because Android's just better. But I don't have an Apple because, like, fuck Apple. Like,
We're not getting into that.
fuck Apple. Fuck Apple. That's what I gotta say.
How have you derailed this into a fucking Apple versus Android thing?
I don't
Shut
know.
the
That's what
fucking
happens
door.
on the warm
What
down.
are we on there? 40 minutes. Jesus.
That's what happens when there's no football. And we talk about... How did we get from talking about going to Manchester United games to Apple against...
You know, it's a skill, isn't it?
It is a skill. Has anyone got the new S8, by the way? Because I'm looking to do the upgradio.
If you want to upgrade, you want an iPhone, mate. So this season coming, I mean, we've done well to avoid talking about transfers here, because honestly, I'm so fucking bored of transfers.
How nice is this, by the way? Oh, they can't see all of it. It's a 99 flag with all the opponents on it that we beat.
We only beat shit teams, didn't we? I mean, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Inter Milan, Juventus, Bromby, like, you know, nobody's.
It feels weird that there's only 5 teams on there. That's because Bayern Munich were in our
Went
group.
straight into the quarters.
We're in our group and we beat them in the final. Yeah, sorry. Inter Milan one was when Beckham had to shake Simeone's hand. Remember, there was a whole thing about that after '98 World Cup, and they were all watching him like, is he going to shake his hand? And then the next time that happened, it was Evra and Suarez, and Suarez didn't shake his. What the hell?
How do you have to, how can you turn this an elite victim mentality that is to be able to turn it around and make someone else out to be the problem when the arguments, well, actually in Spanish it's a term of endearment, is it?
It's like you dropping the P-bomb on me right now Chris telling you must apologise to me next time you see me.
I mean,
Me coming up to you expecting an apology and you telling me to fuck off.
might happen.
It has happened. I'm just talking about the past.
Fucking Suarez.
What about this?
Do you know what? Actually, can we talk about the Suarez thing? Because I saw some United fans.
You're straight in
there's
his
a United
teeth
fan.
and fixed up recently. You
I
see
don't
the
give a
pictures
fuck
of him at
about
Messi's wedding?
No, there was a United fan tweeter, supposedly United fan, Spanish United fan, that was tweeting me saying Suarez is the best number 9 in the world, and you would rip someone's arm off if they offered you him. I was like, no, I wouldn't. I was like, no, I would not. I would not take him at United ever, because I think loyalty means a lot. Fergie sacked players for cussing out. He sacked Roy fucking Keane, the most successful captain of all time, for cussing out young players. There's no fucking way, knowing how well loved Evra was, that Fergie would. People was like, nah, Fergie was a winner.
He may be right in that Suarez may be the best number 9 in the world. He may be. Maybe. But I still wouldn't have him at United because of that. Like, I can't have a racist at United. Can't do it. Not even. Like,
Speaking of
talking about
racists.
John Terry.
Speaking
at
of
Aston
racists.
Villa now. That's a sweep by Stevie Bruce though.
Is it? I don't really rate him. I've never rated him.
No, but Champ, but then he's never even been experienced at Champ. It's another one team player that plays for another team.
It's his third team.
There's a few of these, isn't it? You played for Forest as well, didn't
Yeah, so it's his third team.
you? Yeah, but you can't. Forest was on loan, so you can still kind of get away with that. Because I mean, didn't Scholes go on loan? Scholes didn't go on loan. Did he go to Oldham?
No.
He just wants to play for Oldham, didn't he?
Was the rumour, but he's never said that.
Beckham played for Preston.
Beckham played for a lot of teams.
Yeah, after that, Preston, Madrid, Milan.
Can you imagine being Preston? Preston probably got that up somewhere. He played for best team in Italy, the biggest team in Italy, the biggest team in France, the biggest team in Spain, biggest team in England.
Biggest team in Italy?
I think they got the most championships, got the most European cups. I say they can argue that they are.
Yeah, Juventus may be close though, isn't it?
Yeah. I think they might have the most championships. Yeah, Juventus probably I've run them close. Whatever, it's between them two. So, play for it. I mean,
France,
it's fucking
Italy, Spain, England.
took
Preston.
soccer to America.
Yeah. He's a G, he's Brexit.
So underrated, actually.
You know when you have those T-shirts, like those fashion T-shirts that say like London, Paris, Milan. Like he's just clocked every one of them.
Los Angeles, Manchester, Preston, Milan, Madrid, Paris. That's all he's played for. And I'm trying to think if he's played for anywhere else. I don't think he has he?
Danny Welbeck's done Preston, London, Manchester,
Sunderland.
Sunderland.
When did he do Preston?
On loan?
Did he go to Preston? I don't remember him going to Preston.
Went to Preston on loan. Went on Sunderland. He went to loan on Sunderland. We scored against Chelsea, remember? When they lost 3-1.
Sunderland was a good little loan for us.
Danny Welbeck.
One of my mates works at Wigan, and they're trying to get a United player at the moment. United are loving it.
Get which one did they want?
They want any that they can get.
Did they get Ravel Morrison?
No. He was training there, and he said he was just so fucking far unfit.
I've been talking to Chris, yeah, and I think Chris might shoot me, but I think if we speak about it, we can speak it into existence.
Okay.
I want to interview Ravel Morrison.
Okay.
And I want to find out more. Because hold on, this is a great story.
Extremely interesting story.
Especially right now, when you look at Jesse Lingard, you look at Paul Pogba, and the success that they've had. Michael Keane, just going to Everton for big money. And then you look at the most talented one out of the whole bunch. He's at Lazio. Well, is he at Lazio?
No, he's at QPR, Lugossi.
Wasn't he doing some mad shit at Lazio?
Yeah, he weren't.
So he got paid.
So here's what happened at Lazio.
Apparently.
Right. This is the truth. I'm a bit of...
Hold on, while we're trying to get him on full time, though, probably not the best time to be talking about this.
Fuck it, I'll tell you guys. So what it worked out is that the PFA affords players certain rights, so that they have to get paid a certain minimum wage. They can only be fined so much.
Minimum wage.
It is a minimum wage. There is a minimum wage that footballers are allowed. That was what
a percentage. Like
what was he called? Jimmy Hill fought for as PFA representative, I think. So there's a certain there's a maximum amount players can be fined. There's a maximum amount this, that, and the other that they can do. So what Ravel was doing was he would train for 1 week in Lazio, and then disappear for 3 weeks. Back to Manchester, fuck off on holiday, just not turn up, like mad things, right? But you can only be fined maximum of 2 weeks and a month. So him by going training for 1 week but getting paid for 2, he was like,
triggers the clause kind of thing.
I don't know if there's a like he needed to train for it, but as far as he supposedly as far as he could see, it was like 1 week's work, 2 weeks pay, sweet.
But then you know what as well, like it's fucking clever. But then you know, like if anyone was to ever say to Ravel Morrison, like, you've wasted your career or you've wasted your time or whatever, he would say, I'm looking after my family, I'm paying, because like from the background he's come from, he would never have ever dreamed of making the kind of money he's made, living that, having that career, having
But
that
not
life.
knowing that,
he
he's
looks
making-
after his mom, he looks after his brothers.
He's
all
making
those
5
things.
or 10% of what he could make.
Could have, yeah. And that's why I think he's such an interest. Does he have regrets? No one really asks him in it. He's kind of like, no one approaches him to talk to him. Where I think you have to have it like a sympathetic view to it as well.
You
I think
massively
with
do
Ravel
when
Morrison.
you know
I've grown
how
up
his
around
childhood was.
people that haven't had the best upbringing or haven't grown up. He may have had a great upbringing and not grown up in the right circle. Whatever. There's reasons to these things sometimes, and you've got to see what has triggered someone to be that way. And I think it'd be an Ravel. Shout us.
His brother watches.
Yeah, so shout. Remember we spoke to him outside Old Trafford? Yeah, man. I'd love to interview Ravel Morrison. I think that could be, apart from getting someone like Cantona or Beckham or Fergie, I think Ravel could be one that is doable.
It'd be interesting.
Is doable, and if you did it, I think it'd be. Because who has he spoken to? No,
I'm not aware of him ever doing any interviews. I think there's a little bit of a mythologizing of how good he was at United as well.
I don't think there is. You know.
I think
look how good Pogba is.
Okay, but can we just lay it out? He didn't win any individual awards in that team. He wasn't one of the ones that picked up the awards. He was good. He scored a lot of goals.
His
from
ability,
centre
though,
midfield.
man. His ability was.
And he was definitely highly rated. But there was that team. When you looked at that team, there was several in that team that was also.
He played
highly
once or
rated.
twice for the first team as a sub, and I remember him coming on and just thinking,
I think one of the first things he did was a back heel.
yeah, it's like,
Was it West Ham?
and he was just passing the
Was it
ball.
West Ham he played against first?
He was just passing the ball like, it was like Pogba as well. Like when Pogba had the ball as a kid, you could tell he was different to everybody else.
Do you know what Pogba's first ball was? Was it against Leeds? I think it might have been against
Yeah,
Leeds.
Leeds. He played in the cup.
So he gets the ball around about the halfway line. He's facing the
Kicks it over.
dugout. Yeah, he's facing the dugout. He does a no-look 35-yard. I call it a Scholesy pass. A pass with backspin. So it's a nice looping one, which drops nice for someone. That's the first thing it is. An 18-year-old.
Them passes are easy to him, man. You see him do him now, innit? And he just like leaves his foot under it, and it's just the guy.
It was. So, I remember me and Ben absolutely buzzing about.
No, now
watching
Zlatan's
Pogba.
gone. Pogba's gonna.
I think so. I'm excited to see what he's like with the pre-season, man. I think he's going to be big in the pre-season. Really looking forward to how he does.
I think Pogba is a great representative of football and a great role model for footballers. You know, genuinely do. When you look at that guy, what he does off the pitch, on the pitch.
Don't hear about him.
Did you hear his Esquire interview the other day?
I've not read it.
Read it, sorry, not hear it. Read that interview, yeah, it's class. He gets asked about being the most expensive player in the world, and he says, most expensive, least expensive, you all go to the same place when you die. And it's like a 22-year-old kid to be able to talk like that and just forget about money and forget about those things. You see him like doing his religious pilgrimages, you see him doing these things, like he's so down to earth. He's obviously had a good upbringing around him and that. But this kid is
Well,
something
this is it,
else.
right? He gets a lot of shit for being the most expensive. And what's the worst thing that Pogba does? He fucking dabs. It's a little bit cringy, right? But if that's the worst a player ever does, when you think that we had George Bestwood go missing and he's so loved. George Bestwood go missing pissed and was so loved by the fan base. What does Pogba do? He does a fucking stupid move with his head and
I don't think I genuinely don't think the match going fan base no one dislikes Pogba.
I don't think they probably do.
I've never
I think it's
even
online.
like, you know, with Jesse, like
Actually,
he
no,
splits
that's a
opinion.
lie. There's a couple of people around me took like fuck whenever.
Some people are like, oh, you know, but I think there's a lot of support there for Pogba, and I think we've kind of, do you know how with Beckham when everyone was against him and hey, here's our guy, get the fuck off him. Oh man, I love Beckham. But same with Pogba, like he's our guy, like you need to move up off him, and I think he could be just. This team's exciting, you know. This team is one of the most exciting teams in my time following this club.
I remember Me and Ben used
Probably
to work
since the class of '92.
Me and Ben used to work in a pizza shop. So it used to mean...
I've heard a lot of stories about it.
This is something you'll never hear. But we used to work till pretty late. And then we'd maybe go out for something to drink or something to eat. So I remember being like 20. What was it? Yeah, it would have been about 20. So it was like 2004. We'd just signed Rooney. And we were sitting in the car and we was going through the United squad. And we was like, look, Wes Brown's like how old? Rooney's how old? Ronaldo's how old? And we was going through how young all of these players was, and you still had Giggs and Scholes at the peak of their powers, really. And you're like, this is an exciting team, and it can take adding Evra and Vidic to that. Rio's like, what is it, 22 or some shit like that, whatever he was. Maybe a bit older, 23, 24.
Rio's just had the World Cup 2002.
Yeah, so it was 2 years after that. So he's
mint after that.
So you're like, we're going through all these players in the team, and you're like, this is a fucking sick team. It just needs that little bit of, Ronaldo to mature, Rooney to mature, because they was that age now. And you're looking at this team now, and you've got your workhorse in Lingard, you've got Marshall with untapped potential, you've got Rashford who could do whatever he wants in the game, you've got Paul Pogba who will be the world's best midfielder in the next 5 years.
Potentially the world's best player after Ronaldo and Messi, call it.
Yeah.
Because he'll be...
Undoubtedly.
Because you look at the people just behind them at the moment, probably Neymar and Pogba.
Neymar, Pogba, Suarez.
But then Suarez
Griezmann.
is going to be... Like, by the time Ronaldo and Messi...
Yeah, he's about the same age, isn't he?
Yeah, Suarez is going to be... So I think Neymar, Pogba, the likes of them... Oh, they're killing it. Pogba's amazing, man. Just keep killing it. And I think this team, Marshall, Rashford, like you say, even Bailey, Lindelof, 22.
Yeah,
Twanzebe coming through, Timothy Fosu-Mensah, right there.
But you still got to have that patience, and I think there's such
David
a lack
De Gea,
of patience.
Joel Pereira, yeah. If Dave leaves, I don't want Dave to leave this summer. But if Dave leaves in 2 years, 3 years, fine. Joel Pereira.
I think he needs another loan. He only played 9 games for Belenenses.
But I think if Dave stays, Romero leaves, Joel's our number 2. Why is Romero going to stay if Dave stays?
Stay for 2 years.
But you think he rejected Boca Juniors with the knowledge that Dave was staying? He would have thought that.
I know that some of the players that we talked to at the start of the summer, at least, had said the game was going nowhere, which is actually counter to some of the stuff that I was hearing around Manchester that he was going. So I don't know.
Webby was convinced, wasn't he? And Webby's,
very well connected. Webby.
He doesn't
Very
say
well
things
connected.
just because he didn't, doesn't say things for like retweets and shit.
Well, he doesn't put them on Twitter usually.
Yeah.
So
I love Webby though. He'll be like, "Don't tell anyone," and then everyone knows. It's
don't.
He'll be like,
he's like, "No, I'm telling everyone."
He'll tell me something. Webby will. I love you, Web. He'll tell me something. So don't tell anyone.
Webby's on.
And then I'll be speaking to people, and they'll be like, "Yeah, Webby told me this." Webby just told me not to tell anybody this. Why does everyone know?
Webby might be the next. He might be next. It depends when I can fit him in. Trying to fit him in tomorrow or the day after. But Webby is probably going to be one of the next ones on this month. Got a sick month lined up for you, Danny Webber is coming in this week to do this, and I don't want it to be released. Might be next week or the week after. He was in a Legends game.
Seen Danny at Blackburn.
Blackburn?
Yeah, in the press box. We had press access. We very rarely get press access. And what happens is when we get a team like Blackburn, who are a bit shit, and who aren't used to Premier League clubs coming to town anymore, we can blag press access sometimes. And Danny Webber was there. Funny story. Samuel Falkhurst.
Oh, I forget about that. That's not
he got fed up that we were in the press box. It's funny now to see him. I enjoyed Twitter this week.
But yeah, Danny's coming on.
Danny's mint. I remember
I was chatting to him
Danny
last
was one of
week.
them youngsters I used to be like, oh, he's going to be mint.
You wait.
He's going to be
wait.
mint him. Sylvain Blake. He's next. And then it was Fraser Campbell.
He was unbelievable on Footy
Giuseppe
Manager.
Rossi.
They had him. They had his, yeah, he was one of those. No, Webber.
Oh, Webber, yeah, he was mint.
I was chatting to him last week, and he goes, I got to go away this weekend.
Barcelona he was at, isn't it?
But he didn't say that's what I'm going to do. He's just like, I got to go away this weekend. And then as the team news came out, and the team, I was like, you motherfucker. So I'm going to try and tap him up for Yorks.
Did you see?
I'm going to try and tap him up for Dwight York's number.
Did you see the nutmeg on, who was it on? Jesper
Blomqvist.
Blomqvist. Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's Ronaldinho, mate. He'll be doing that at 90.
Why couldn't someone like Ronaldinho have Ronaldo's mentality?
Because sometimes that mentality...
Do you think it's because he had the talent so easily?
Sometimes that ability manifests itself in nutters. Like, there's people I've mentioned to it on this podcast. There's a guy I went to school with who was just fucking unbelievably good, but didn't have that work rate. I didn't have any like natural given talent when I played rugby. I was just all fucking graft and all heart. I was Alan Smith, me, mate. I had nothing but fucking heart to give. Whereas you see, there was actually a player that I played with. I'm not sure what he's doing now. He was someone that we signed from rugby union and an England schoolboy, and he was a winger. And he might have been the quickest thing that's ever moved. But do you know what? When training got hard, his hamstring would go. And he'd be like, hamstring's a bit tight. And he'd spend 45 minutes stretching. Every week. Fit for weekend, though.
I used to have a bad I hate training. I hated training as well. So the worst trainers are usually the best players anyway. Because I think, why should I train? Cantona was probably one of the worst trainers.
Not true.
Not true?
No, grafter. He instilled that work ethic into the class of 92. He was what him and Bergkamp brought over from the continent was that work ethic. Bergkamp did it at Arsenal, Cantona did it at United. Cantona would get Beckham, and I'll tell you something else in a minute as well. But Cantona used to get the likes of Beckham and Scholes, and he used to be like, "Yo, Scholes, I want you to fire balls into me," and he would like take a touch, turn and shoot. He didn't have one of the reserve keepers, I assume like Pilkington maybe or something at the time, and Beckham putting crosses in for him, and he would go out there at like 2 PM because. I don't know how much you lot guys know about how training works at United, but you do team training, which generally revolves around tactics and stuff. At 10:30 in the morning, they usually do an hour and a half, 2 hours. It ends usually with a little bit of some sort of conditioned game to get the players' fitness or work the players' fitness a little bit still. And then in the afternoon, they can do free training. Some of them do weights. Some of them might do rehab on niggling injuries that they're coping with, or that they've been getting over with to keep the balance and stuff, and then sometimes later than that they can go and do their own training. This is the facilities there for them to just do what the fuck they want. Cantona used to grab a bag of balls, 2 or 3 of the academy lads, class of 92 lads usually, and he used to just go and work 2 hours in the rain, in the snow, in the sun, in everything. And that work ethic.
Can you imagine that being a kid and Cantona saying, "Hey"?
Beckham spoke about it, and he goes, "I was a Cantona fanboy." He goes, "So when he goes, you come and do fucking crossing with me," he was like, "I'll be here till 9 o'clock if you need me." Just fucking putting them in. But Beckham's training too.
Yeah.
So he's been developed. So when the time comes that Beckham needs to come into the first team, Cantona can be like, "This kid's got a good cross."
There's a picture of Beckham and Cantona.
You mean the one that's my phone lock screen?
Where they're running next to each other.
You mean the one that's my background on my computer?
I tweeted that picture before, and I just said, "This is my childhood."
Yeah.
That is my childhood.
Beckham and Cantona.
And my love for Cantona moved on to Beckham when Cantona Cantona broke my heart, man. Trevor McDonald broke that news.
Anyway, the thing that's really encouraging at the moment is what I'm hearing out of United at the moment is Marcus Rashford is taking the under-16s, he's taking the goalkeeper, and he's just shooting on him. He's doing free kicks and he's doing shooting practice.
Poor goalkeeper.
But
confidence down the shitter.
if you get Marcus, you get Jesse. If you get Jesse, you get Pogba. If you get Pogba, you get Marshall. And think about this is how the class of '92 clique formed. When you get a group of players like that are like, nah, we just train because we're in a fucking privileged position to be at Manchester United at the moment, and they just have this crazy work ethic. If you're the manager of a team, if Mourinho's sitting in there in his office and he's on his little fucking pedal bike while he's reading,
thinking everyone's left, and he looks out
the window and he can see these dickheads just having a 3-on-3 or something like that. Can you imagine how much he's be like, yes lads, fucking yes lads, because he knows that there's something.
I like
in
Rashford
them.
and Jess. I think I speak about them quite a lot, but I think with them, they obviously, you see them having a lot of fun on social media. You see them having a laugh, a joke, more so Jesse than anyone else. And you see all that, but then you also know they fucking work hard.
Jesse gets Lingard, a lot of unfair stick because he's not Ronaldo.
I had a chat with
he's not Pogba.
Jesse's dad in Stockholm after the final. He was buzzing. And we spoke to him for about 30-45 minutes. It's a shame we never got it on camera because
he won't come on camera actually.
It was a mint chat, yeah. And we were just talking to him about Jesse, and he was saying yeah, Jesse's this, that. Wait till he puts on a little bit of weight. He's going to be absolute even better. And he was talking about how Fergie had said to him, remember when Fergie said, 22 years old, he'll be ready for United. And he said that to his dad. When he's 22 years old, he'll be ready. He's going out on loan now. He's not playing. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're taking the piss.
On the day,
and he was
enough.
bang on. And he says, Jesse Lingard, this isn't finished with Jesse Lingard.
Oh, I don't
like,
know.
he will get better and better. He will improve as a player. He will add things to his game. And I think a lot of people, look, I don't think Jesse Lingard right now should be playing every week for United.
He's not a starter.
I think he's a player that can come in and offer something.
Squad.
And
He
I also
definitely
think he
is.
will improve. And I think a lot of people sleep on. I don't know whether it. I'm not going to say that. But I think a lot of people sleep on how very intelligent he is as a footballer. I think when people see young black players, they just think, he's quick, skillful, that's it. Or if he's a midfielder, he's big and strong. They never look at, he's clever with the ball. Like Kante. Everyone talks about Kante. He's quick, he runs around a lot. No one ever talks about his intelligence or his footballing ability or his reading of the game. You think Kante can't read the game or he hasn't got that
He's
intelligence.
gonna be fucking excellent.
You have to be able to do all that to be able to get there in time. And like, I think sometimes when it comes to players of minorities, they're less likely to say they're intelligent or they're clever. And Jesse Lingard is both those things with his movement. His finishing, he's not so clever sometimes.
No, it isn't.
Because he's just rash, like, bang. Like, I remember, who did we play against? And he had 2-3 chances in a half.
I remember it being at home.
And he was like volleying things. And it was like, if you just take a touch, you're scoring 2-3 goals. And Jesse's going to develop as a player. And I think people that think Jesse's some dickhead who's just having a laugh and a joke, wasting United's time, wasting United's money, they need to realise that deep down there's a serious guy there that's taking his football very seriously and is only going to improve and grow as a player and a man.
More than that, like, I don't really give a fuck where players come from, but there is an undeniable special connection. Because Jesse Lingard's not from Manchester, his dad is. But he's from Warrington, which is a little bit further away. Still pretty local. But ultimately, him and Marcus have stood on the Stretford end. Him and Marcus have been fans of this club. And you can't tell me that someone... I mean, look at the Manchester derby last season. The two smallest players on the pitch is Marcus and Jesse. And it goes off. Get fucking first in there. You can't tell me that you don't play 2, 3, 5% harder for Manchester United when you've been a Manchester United fan. Ander Herrera might get us, but does he get us as much as Marcus gets us? Does he get us as much as Jesse gets us? Joe, when he knows his dad is in the fucking crowd, not because he's watching him play, because his dad would be in the crowd whether he was playing or not. And his dad will be in the crowd in 20 years' time and was in the crowd 20 years ago.
You want an example of how deeply rooted Jesse's family are to the club? Just look at his brother's fan cam after Anfield. Like, that says it all. Like, it's Jesse's class, man. People need to leave him alone. Marcus Rashford's class.
Them guys are the soul of the club, and that's why it matters to me that we have academy players coming through. You know, we might buy Paul Pogba from abroad at 16 and bring him through our academy and class him as one of our own. He does say he likes Manchester and loves Manchester, but is that connection the same as Marcus Rashford, who grew up Jesse Lingard as a 2-year-old in a United kit? You know, that fucking connection, I think, gives you that extra 2-3%. Now, you might get that click all working hard together at the training ground and all the rest of it, and they might impart some of that feeling to them guys, and it might end up being a massively successful thing. But you telling me when you've got just, you know, what you're getting at City with all these mercenaries, wouldn't you rather have some players with soul? Because I think
Funk Soul Brothers.
When Marcus fucking scored against City and runs off and he's leaping through the air, there's no personal glory in that. That's all for what he's just done for Manchester and for United, I think. That's the impression that I get.
There's just dreams there. They're just dreams. Have you ever had a dream of playing for Man United? Because I've had fucking loads.
I still think there's like a 0.5% chance that it could happen.
I used to have a dream. I had this dream, a repetitive dream, that I was sat in a south stand, right at the front.
Someone goes, you.
Yeah, you. Come on. I've had that dream so many times. And Gary Neville got injured in one. Like, that was this thing. Gary Neville used to always get injured. I'm not even a right back. But I'd be there. Wish it was true. I wish it was true. And you know what as well? I've been on the pitch here. Because I did some advert with MUTV back in the day. Remember when they held up loads of things on the pitch? And I was on the pitch. I could definitely score from the halfway line. Definitely. You know, when you get down there, it's smaller than you think, you know. I could do it.
Old Trafford actually does feel smaller than you think. Because the pitch is raised. That couple of metres makes like... North Stand looks enormous when you're in the stands. Because you're like, look at all that shit. But when you're on the pitch... Can't really see it all that well, and it doesn't look that intimidating.
It's like from my seat, I can't see. I can only see tier
fuck
ones.
all, can you?
Tier ones. I can't. I can see the full pitch and tier ones. I can't see tier 2. Can't see the singing section. Can't see the east stand. Can't see anything.
Do you know, as an angry
and the
view,
atmosphere's
tier 3 in the North Stand.
I sat there for Celtic in the Champions League.
Do you know what you need to be able to see at Old Trafford to have a good view?
Milan in the Champions League.
Sky. You need to be able to see Sky. If you can see Sky, you'll have a good view.
Yeah.
From wherever you sat, if you can see the
I
sky,
can't see Sky.
like over the other stand or maybe over to the right or whatever, then you can see.
I can't see Sky.
Otherwise, it weirds me out. I get like fucking, I don't know, is it vertigo or something?
I just prefer probably claustrophobia if you can't see Sky. I can't. I like being where I am, standing, singing most of the time. You know, I've noticed you don't sing.
No, I don't.
It's weird that.
I do occasionally, but I can't concentrate on watching the match. So I like to analyse the match.
Sometimes, yeah, I'll go to a game and, well, less so now. But back, because I drink less now, innit? Back in the day, I used to just be wild before a match. But now, I still drink, but I drink less because obviously I'm driving more. But,
Driving, no dance. Resets after a hot dog as well.
It does, yeah, it resets. After a bottle of water, you can have 5 more.
You tell the officer that as well and he pulls you over. As long as you ended it on a 5, then you're like 5 and drive.
All right, yeah.
You have 15 now, and?
Can't wait for this season, you know.
Yeah, I don't sing too much where I am now. Again.
Yeah, I forgot what I was talking about.
I'm not beard up. Beard up helps.
Yeah, beard up helps. I used to not know what happened in a game. I remember once. No, I just can't even remember that match. But I remember once there was a game we went to, we won, and I didn't know we won. And we won.
There was...
Because that was the game. Remember that Arsenal game where Andre Arshavin blasted one through Ben Foster's hands? And then we won 2-1. But Van Persie scored for Arsenal in like the last minute. And it was disallowed for offside or something. I didn't know that goal was disallowed. That's how pissed I was. So going home, I was in a mood. Oh, fuck dear. Got on the bus and we won. I was buzzing. And like, that's how fucked I was. Some of them games I was smashing.
In about 2002, I think it was a Champions League qualifier or something maybe, or early group stage. We played Zalgiris.
Zalagazeg.
Was it that?
We lost 1-0 away in Hungary. And we won 5-1 or 5-0 at home.
Right. I'd been to Lloyd's Bar that day, during the day, daytime drinking, and I was smashettoed before I got to the ground. So, in the ground, now we get the oxygen hitting me, I'm just going off a cliff, like really, really drunk. It was like a pound a shot or something like that in there, and we'd gone bananas. I was really, really fucking, I'd been sick, I was that fucking drunk. And I remember, I thought Forlan had scored.
Forlan never scored.
He hadn't scored, right? But I thought Forlan had scored. So I was talking to people on the way home about Forlan's goal, and they're all looking at me, but no one corrected me.
Yeah.
So I wake up the next day. The only thing I can remember is like my head hurts for one, and for two, Forlan scored. Finally broke.
Finally.
And he hadn't.
Do you remember that goal against Southampton? And he scored, and then he took his shirt off, and then he couldn't put his shirt back on. That was mint. And then he scored a banger against Chelsea. Oh, it's pissing down with rain that day as well.
Do you know what?
That was a
Forlan's
great
problem
goal.
was? He was trying too hard. Because he would run around like an headless chicken.
Yeah, he would.
Do you know, like Tevez used to run around and put
He was
pressure
the
on
right
people?
player at the wrong time.
It's a shame.
Because his next move was Atletico.
Yeah, and smashed it.
Smashed it.
They had a habit of signing strikers who just fucking did it.
Even again, to let Griezmann go, they were going to get Lacazette.
Who would no doubt have smashed it. Has he signed for Arsenal?
Will he smell it? You see, I think Arsenal, to get Lacazette and Mahrez, which is the rumours, if they kept Sanchez, great. But when you don't, you're not replacing. You're just about replacing Sanchez.
Is he going City, do you think?
Yeah, he's definitely going
But-
City. Did you see that?
Where are they going to
press
play all these
conference?
fucking players that they've just
Yeah,
signed?
press
They're all in the
conference.
same position. No, I ain't seen the press conference.
He was like, I can't remember what he said, but it was like one of them things. And
Oh, hang on.
oh, what did
Is
he
it?
say?
Oh, shit.
You'll find out.
My
soon.
future's clear. I know exactly where I'm
Yeah,
going.
yeah, yeah.
Are you saying Arsenal? Don't know. You
And
fucking
then,
witch.
What's the keeper's name? City's keeper's name.
Bravo.
He was sat there like, ooh, and you just knew, like, yeah, he's going City. If Arsenal sell Sanchez to City, they may as well just dissolve themselves. Like, what's the point? Like,
He's not gonna stay, is he?
you have so much money. He's got a year left on his contract. You could force him elsewhere. Obviously, they sold us Van
United
Persie.
did it with Hines.
But that was like 6 months later. He left in January or...
Yeah, but we fucked him.
Eventually, yeah, we did fuck him. He's a prick, he was. That's one thing that scares me about these RGs. Like Rojo as well. Probably become the best centre-half in the world and then tell us to fuck off.
Could happen.
Because them RGs are disloyal.
But you got to think that he's in a good clique with all the Spanish that are there. So all the Spanish speakers that you've got. Rojo, Valencia, Herrera.
What
all
if
of them
Herrera
guys.
went Barca, Dave went Madrid, Matt
Matt's
got
only got a year
sold.
left.
Matt got sold by
Right,
Jose.
think about the worst
Jesus
case scenario. Like this could
Christ.
happen, right? Apocalypse Manchester United. You've got Matt with a year left on his contract. They might have already rigged this shit up. They've definitely had a conversation about it. Herrera goes Barcelona. Dave goes back to Madrid, and they're all fucking best friends for life back in Spain.
Apocalypse Man United.
Apocalypse Man
There's
United.
your title for the podcast.
I don't know what the fuck I can title this actually.
Apocalypse Man United. That's clickbait as fuck. That'd be great. That people are like, what these two bellends talking about today?
And then they get.
And then they won't find out until the end.
And we're talking about the American tour. What even have we talked about?
A lot
Google.
of things.
Apple versus Android.
Um,
Stretford End back in the day.
Brown United fans.
Yeah. EDL City.
It's been a good chat. Who's winning the league next season?
I haven't a fucking clue.
I do. United.
It's not Chelsea.
United.
Now, I've over the last couple of weeks, and I'm hoping to announce, so don't tell everyone yet, but
Announce!
I've been
Pogba.
talking to some people about a new job. And if it happens, I'll definitely tell you on a podcast. It's pretty exciting. But the chances of it coming off, pretty slim.
I know it's not happening.
So, over the last few weeks, I've been doing a lot of analysing and watching in certain different ways, and I've been finding out a lot of how things are working behind the scenes at clubs, specifically with training, coaching, tactics, and that side of things. Chelsea was able to get their tactics bang on because of the no Europe factor. Liverpool ditto. That's going to change drastically for both of those two. Arsenal are going to struggle with the Europa League.
Fuck.
So you've got United, City, and Spurs.
Lacazette is a Europa League striker. You know this, right?
There's an upgrade on Giroud.
People speak like he's 21 years
There's an
old.
upgrade on Giroud. I'll say that.
He gets benched for Giroud for France.
I think he's an upgrade on Giroud.
He's different.
Paul
to
Scholes
Giroud.
used to get benched for fucking
I
Gerrard
think.
and Lampard.
I think Lacazette is going to score at least 15 goals next season. But he's a Europa League striker. Trust me, he's not. You would not win the Premier League or Champions League with Lacazette leading your line. Sorry, it doesn't happen. I'd rather have Rashford.
I'd rather have Marshall.
I'd rather have Marshall. I'd rather have a one-legged Zlatan.
He was only kick him out last week.
Mate. I've still got a feeling we're going to see Zlatan in the United shirt again. But then again, his last post is kind of like...
But it don't mean anything. It could mean anything. It could mean him just saying that's what happened. It doesn't mean nothing's going to
I
change.
came, I said, I conquered.
Yeah. I hope how many people corrected him and said, I saw.
No, but he said... He didn't just see. He said he was going to conquer, and he did it. Well, conquered. Kind of.
His finishing rate was half what it was for the
But how
rest of
mint
his
would it have
career.
been if he played in the final, in his hometown,
Where he
in his home
snatches.
country, against his first European club after Malmo, Ajax, against his last European club, United? Would have been perfect for him, innit? God bless him.
It's an interesting cat.
He is.
Right, we're going to fucking wrap it up.
Yeah, on that note, subscribe to Adam McKola TV, youtube.com/Adam McKola. 40k by the start of the Premier League season is the target.
It's in the comments. It's in the description. Go and subscribe to him.
Subscribe to Steve. Subscribe to Full Time Devils.
And subscribe to my podcast channel as well, because...
You got three channels.
Yeah, the podcast with me and Ben is on its own podcast now, just on its own. That'll be in the description as well. So there's this channel, which is
that
now...
on iTunes as well?
Yep, on iTunes, on SoundCloud when I update it. So this channel, all football content now, just pure football content.
Balls.
To stop you knobheads moaning that me and Ben start talking politics or pizzas or nights out or whatever. So this is all football now. On here you're going to find the warm down. There's a youth review coming out this week, which I'm going to introduce you to the class of 2018, some of the signings and some of the graduates from the under-16s, how I expect them to play.
You know what's this week?
And how I think they're going to do.
I'm doing a vlog of it for my channel, by the way, somehow. Fan League
is this week. You won't be seeing the videos for a couple of weeks because of the way they're
ankles.
fucking working it out. But Ilya's playing. You know what that means? You know what that means. Someone's getting smashed.
Smash, I told.
So yes, this is all football content. The podcast channel is going to be all podcast content. So check the link out in the bottom. Subscribe to me, subscribe to him, and we'll see you later.